Hi guys, welcome back to Let's Talk About It with Courtney. It's me, Courtney, your host. I know, like you don't know. I'm excited. This is my first time recording since the podcast launch. And as you can imagine, that was, what is the word? It was terrifying to put myself out there. I didn't know what the feedback would be. And honestly, I am so grateful for what I got as a response. I had friends messaging me and telling me that they're proud of me. Great comments and feedback, and some constructive criticism as well. One being to be a little bit more comfier and welcoming into the podcast. And here I am in my podcast room. I am cozy, I am here, and I am here for it. I thought I would be a little honest today and talk about what it was like after the launch and just the experience of putting myself out there. And I hope you find it helpful. Maybe you just started a business and maybe you're nervous, scared to what are people going to think of me? And will I get support? Will people stop following me? Will my parents be upset? Will I lose anyone? And first of all, I think that's all normal. Those were my exact thoughts, and I'm a trained therapist and coach. And I was terrified. And I just thought, why am I terrified? Let's confront that question right there off the bat. Why am I terrified? Because I'm vulnerable. A lot of my friends and family knew some of these stories. And were they going to judge me? And it's not silly. It's just what it was for me. I was so nervous to be out in the open, I guess. And I've tried to cultivate and create this podcast to be as authentic as I would be in a room with a client. I mostly do telehealth. If this is your first episode, I mostly do telehealth. I'm a licensed therapist in North Carolina. I'm pending, hopefully soon, Washington, to receive reciprocity here in my home state, Washington. And meanwhile, I'm coaching. I started this podcast and I'm putting myself out there. My social media was locked down as of less than a week ago. I've never publicly shared much about what I do. A lot of my friends and family knew I was a therapist. Yeah, I got the whole master's degree and everything. A lot of them know what I focused on. And again, if this is your first time tuning in, I specialize in couples counseling with a focus in sex therapy. I've also brought in this really fun, intuitive guidance system that kind of makes it all make sense. And I work as my practice is called Waymark Counseling, and work as a waymark in couples, relationships, and individuals to kind of help them get back on their own path. So again, if I talk to my friends at dinner or my parents or my sisters or brothers, they know some, right? But they've never been a client across from me, and they definitely have never been in a room where I'm the therapist. If you don't know this, therapists can't therapize their friends and family. Crazy rule. Thank goodness. Thank you, ethics committee, for putting that out there. I can give advice and do that, but it's such a different relationship than with a client and being the therapist coach in the room. But as you can see, if you've watched any, they're not perfect. I'm not editing these, and I'm showing up in the comfort of my own home, or if you watch the first couple of my friend's home, I will always just show up as me, Courtney Carroll, LMFT, coach, and there's no plan. To be honest, I had some advice, and where's your marker, what time you should have a consistent time you cut off these podcasts, and right now I'm not going to go with it. My hope is to never go past an hour. That's a therapy session, 50-ish minutes. And to keep some of these videos short. Some of these episodes will be longer. Some of these episodes will be more vulnerable for myself. If you didn't tune into episode 3, me talking about my divorce and what I went through, cannot be more vulnerable than that. And and sometimes there'll be 20, 30 minutes to focus on a topic. I'm literally just going with it, and I just want to talk about it. That's the podcast name came in for a reason. And if one day I feel led, or I get like a consistent thing in sessions, or say the universe is saying, hey, you need to talk about this, I'm going to jump on my phone or my computer, record a session, and hope that it resonates. But let's like go back. What is it like? A lot of people have asked me this, including some really good friends of mine. Now that it's out there and you put your story out there, what was that like? Did you get the feedback, like whatever? And I mentioned I got some great feedback, and I am so happy that my friends are supportive and family. I will be vulnerable and also say I didn't hear from a lot of people too. Like, that's weird, right? I know. I see how my voice goes up. Like, it is. I thought I would hear more from some people, maybe even feedback, like nothing. I didn't expect like, good job, Courtney, I can't believe you did this. But I was surprised on a few people just being quiet or silent, not commenting or anything on it. And I guess I want to talk about that too, is what does that mean? Nothing. The famous Mel Robbins, and if you've never seen her or heard her, she's amazing. I am a forever fan. Her Let Them theory, if you've not read that book, oh my gosh, at least try to find a podcast for her to explain it to you. And she calls it Let Them. Let them do whatever they're doing. If they don't support, they don't support. Or if your friend's not calling you back, they're not calling you back. For me as a therapist, if the client doesn't want to book another session or doesn't respond to a message, I don't take it personally. I can still be surprised and be like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But I don't push for more. And part of her other side of the theory is the let me part. Let me respond to what I'm getting, and I'm only in charge of me. And I can only focus on my friends and family have busy lives. Not everyone can stop and support me immediately, and that's okay. Let them be busy. Let me not take it to heart. I've been in those busy seasons. I wanted to make this podcast for, I've been talking to a mentor of mine for probably 3 years. My daughter also says 3 this way. So I always want to say 3 years because I'm 3 when she's 3. 3 years. And I am just now this summer recording. I'm putting myself out there. So the lesson is like, I feel supported, and more importantly, I'm proud of myself. I always ask my daughter, instead of me saying, I'm proud of you, I ask her, are you proud of yourself? And I'm so freaking proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for being vulnerable and modeling my authentic self, knowing if you know me personally, my clients 100% knows I am not a tech savvy person. It is something I would have to work really hard at figuring out. Hence no editing on top of that. I wouldn't know how to do it. And it's not my gift. And again, I would have to work really hard at it. So I'm just showing up. Maybe one day, if the podcast expands, I can hire an editor and maybe get feedback or how to do things. But I won't lie to you, I'm pretty stubborn, and it will be as close to as what you're experiencing now. And it has to be authentic to me. It has to feel like that because it's important to me. Or else I'm not really giving you the Courtney Carroll experience. That sounds so cheesy, but I wouldn't be showing up as myself. And I misunderstand words or misuse the words. See, I just did it. And it's okay. I do that in session. If you're a therapist, doctor, anyone out there, like, and you're talking to clients, patients, fill in the dot, like, we don't always say things right, and that's okay too. So I think the most important thing after the launch is being surprised about the amount of pride I feel for myself. And the fact that I've utilized the let them theory and let me theory and not take anything personally if I haven't heard anything. And maybe it's a good thing, you know, no news is good news. Is that what they say? I don't know, but it sounds about right. But I also have received so much love. People I haven't talked to in years messaging me, telling me they're proud of me, telling me like they resonate with something, and that they're excited that I use my past experiences to show up in this way and be vulnerable. So many comments and text messages about like being vulnerable and showing up, and that's exactly how I want it. Not that I wanted to be vulnerable, but I want it to be authentic. That is how I see a client across from me in a room. That is how I see being heard stories that no one else hears, and being part of their lives. Like, it's an honor. But also, like, I look at these clients and I'm like, dang, they're brave. They're over here doing a thing. They booked the session. They're with me in person. They want to get better, and they're talking about these dark places, and they want it to change. And I get to bear witness. My job is to bear witness, support, advise, and help people. I literally have the coolest job in the world. It's the coolest. And yes, there are hard days, but it is like the coolest thing in the world that I get to be a safe place for people, humans. And in those rooms, I am Courtney. I do not have a doctorate. I don't have anything like that. I will always be Courtney. It is not Mrs., definitely not Mrs. Carroll, not Mrs. But unless you're calling me Hazel's mom, like that, I'm Courtney. Some call me Court. You know, like that's who I am. And when I'm in session, I talk about my life if it resonates with the client. I share stories if it resonates. I cry with my clients. I've had tears in my eyes, like full on crying with some clients. When you show up authentically and genuine, I think you get a good response. And it's exciting to hear from my peers, to hear from friends and family, and encouraging me to keep doing it, because half of me wanted to go in a turtle shell and not come out, because what if there's comments? What if people don't like it? And because I'm human. And it's literally been exciting. If I hear another follower, I'm like, oh my gosh, more views. I've not counted. I'm kind of nervous too. I'll try to count on Friday for the first week of how many views. But I feel supported. And I feel supported by some amazing people. I feel supported by my mentors, my teachers, some clients. And it's just so cool to know that I can be vulnerable, because I felt like I was like the client showing up in this podcast. Like, I get to share this with you, and how crazy is it that I get to share this vulnerable spot, and then I kind of wait and see for the reaction. You're my dog's barking in the background. I'm sorry. Someone must be dropping off mail or a package. Again, no editing. This is just how it is. This is how I would be in session. My dogs bark. I have dogs. In fact, I have 2 dogs and 2 cats and a kid. Like, kid's never home for session, but the rest is true. See me going zoom, zoom, zoom. Again, I have pride that I put myself out there. And if I don't reach a bunch of people or become a famous podcaster, I had no intention. It'd be cool if it did. If I can help thousands, like, how cool is that? But at the same time, if I help a few, how cool is that? How cool is that? And the reason why I expanded this, and if you've listened to the other episodes, thank you. And I might have to go back to this here and there, because not everyone's going to watch every episode. And again, that's okay. Let them pick the ones they want. And let me be excited that anyone took the time to listen to me. And I started out as a therapist. I had life happen to me, and I decided to take on a coaching business, and I wanted to help, like I started this podcast to help people. I'm not getting paid for this. Maybe one day I will, but at this moment I'm using my own time to record this in hopes it helps people. And again, if it helps thousands one day, cool. If it helped 2, how cool. I'm just excited that I can expand my comfort zone, if you will, to hopefully put my voice out there to help resonate with someone. And again, going back to earlier, if you are at the cusp, and maybe that's why you bought into this episode of what happens after you put yourself out there. Besides the anxiety and almost wanting to puke thing and like hide thing, like I told you, the turtle shell thing. See, very human. What happens after? You get support. If there's going to be naysayers, I welcome it, especially if it's constructive criticism. If you're in a business, you have to welcome constructive criticism. I when my friend mentioned like, hey, your pictures on social media are you relaxed and cool and comfy in a chair, and I'm like, I could do, like, that's the idea of it. I'm still trying to figure out the tripod and doing all these things, but yes, that's that. I'm working towards that. And not, do you see me? I'm comfortable. I'm in my own home. I'm chilling. I'm trying to figure out how to be comfortable and not feel like my hands are giant. I don't know, but I took her feedback and I was like, yeah, that is more me. I'm usually, if I'm in person, which I don't do at this current moment, maybe in the future, like I sit like this. I know a lot of therapists don't. I sit like this, and if I'm at my computer chair, my legs are usually crossed out, like my feet are up or something, and this is how I show up. So if you're putting a new business out there, show up as yourself. Show up as you. And at first moment, you publicize everything. You publish it, like, take a deep breath. And if you can ask yourself, what was my intention of putting it out there? If it's for the good, to help people, to share my real life experiences, to expand my business, and it's all for the good, and you're authentic and genuine, there's really nothing to fear. You have to embrace, like, not everyone is going to be excited texting you, going to your social media page and liking it, supporting it, following it, whatever the right words are for all social media, taking the time out of their day to listen to a podcast that's 30-ish minutes. That's okay. Try not to take it personal. It's okay if you do. Again, I had a couple human moments like, I wish I would have heard from so-and-so. They're busy. And that's okay. Let me still be excited that I finally did the thing. I finally launched Let's Talk About It with Courtney after years of thinking about it, praying about it, manifesting it, seeking guidance about it, going into mentorship programs for it, business mentorship, and that I'm actually launched. My best friend Megan, I call her Pirate Hooker. If you know Dane Cook, that is why we call each other Pirate Hooker. It was a joke. To be honest, I don't remember the joke. But my birthday, you guys know I launched the podcast, and she wrote me a beautiful card. And if you don't have a Megan in your life, she's the best. I'll probably say that about a few people, but God, she's good at making you feel so good. She sees people how she reflects what she sees in you, and she's been my biggest cheerleader. And she wrote, I'm gonna get emotional. She wrote in the card, you did it. You said by your birthday, but despite all these hard things you went through, you said, I gotta put myself out there. It launches my birthday. I really felt good. Like, I really wanted to enter 36. Like, saying, I'm not hiding anymore. And she wrote, you did it. I'm so proud of you. And you should be so proud of yourself. And it's good. It's gonna be great. And you stuck by your word, and you did it. And I just read it, and I started crying. She makes me cry in a good way. And I said, I did. We live our lives in so many ways, and like, one day we'll do it. And one day, maybe I'll be good enough to launch. One day, I'll have all this expertise and I will be ready. The fact is, we're like, being ready, that's a feeling. Like, a feeling's not a decision. Putting yourself out there is a decision. And I decided for my 36th birthday, I will do this. I want to enter this year full of fun, helping more people. I'm seeking peace, joy, comfort, fun, and this is how I'm going to do it. If I can spend an hour of my week helping other people, and again, even if one resonates with it, that is freaking cool, and I'm proud of myself. I am proud of me not hiding anymore. And if you're hiding, that's okay. Just kind of encourage you to, like, peek around the corner and be like, instead of saying, what if everyone hates me? What if there's bad comments? What if my ex-husband's mad at me? What if so-and-so, my parents, my family, my friends, what if, like, they don't see the same perspective? But what if it's actually awesome? Instead of the negative cognitive thing that we as humans do, what if we peeked around the corner and we said, what if it was helpful? What if this aligns with someone? What if it helps someone, like I said? What if this is like the pivot I needed to do to expand my career, to support and provide for my daughter more, and I betted on myself? And what if it paid off? Y'all, I'm so excited. I was so anxious, I was so nervous, so many feelings, like, but the fact is, it's okay if I'm not everyone's cup of tea. There's so many flavors of tea. I have my favorites too. It's okay that someone's gonna look at this podcast and be like, well, it's not fully tech savvy, and you know, it doesn't maneuver, and you kind of see where she's talking, and she misspells over words all the time. She talks about her kid, and she's got ADD. She bounces around a lot, and that's okay. That is so true about me, by the way. I do bounce. I do have ADD. And I am a proud mom, and I will do this podcast however I feel that is authentic to myself. I'll show up vulnerable. If you don't like the side of my story, it's not yours. And I've shared so many times, and if I haven't in these podcasts, like, I am going to share with you, we can all go through a very similar experience and have different perspectives. My ex-husband's a perfect example of that. He's going to have a different perspective. He's a different person in our marriage, in our past marriage. Like, same with my ex-fiance. When I decided to open up and talk about him in the next few episodes and our story, and he has his own lived experience and perspective. I have mine. And again, I had to soul check in, solar plexus question, you know, the chakras, that's what I'm going through. Like, I had to ask myself a gut question to trust my intuition. Am I posting this or putting anything negative in the world? No. Am I have the best intentions? Yes. Am I doing this to help people? Yes. Then it's okay if not everyone agrees. Completely okay. And I have to let them, and I have to let me do something different with it. And people also talk about, like, match energy. So, like, I'm a millennial, 36, proud of it. Not midlife crisis like I thought it was. If you haven't caught that episode, you know, that's like 60. Seriously, it's gonna be midlife for me. I plan on living 100 years at least. And what if everything happened for a reason, and I get to this point in my career where I can sit down, make videos, and have it help people? It was all meant to be. And I know that was a bouncy. I hope that makes sense to you. And I'm okay with sharing my story as long as it helps. I will never post a video out of vengeance or new. And then going back, I did lose track of thought. I told you I'd be authentic, matching energy. I know something I'm learning with my own therapist is to only invest what people invest in me back. And that's not a consequence. Sometimes people don't have the capacity to like, support, or do this, or meet up for coffee. I know, like this summer, I did not have that capacity, and it's okay to respect that. And I don't have to chase it. I don't have to force connection. I don't have to force support. I'm putting myself out there. I'm sharing stories. Like, I'm on Instagram. I'm not chasing anyone to come and love and support me. I'm putting stuff out there, and if it resonates, then I would get love and support. I think when you're in this type of field, I mean, I can't speak for all therapists. Like, usually the therapist needed the therapist when they were young, so they became the therapist. And that is life. And so we want to help people because we needed help in whatever capacity that looks like for each person. And I think that happens a lot with doctors and physician assistants, and gosh, even in the military. I love the military. I am so much more familiar with the Army, but even becoming like an Army Ranger hero, like, you wanted to be a superhero and you get to be one. How cool is that? That is so cool. So again, if you are living in purpose, and you have good intentions, and you want to launch something, or maybe you're battling with like acceptance or wishing you got more from someone, it's okay. It's okay. You're not everyone's flavor of tea. That's the reason why there's a lot. Kind of reminds me of the Baskin Robbins and 31 flavors, right? And that's why there's a ton of podcasters out there. And it's exciting to even know I'm a flavor out there. And it's really cool. And I know I won't be everyone's flavor. I know I won't get support from every single person I know and love. And I get to focus on being proud of myself, putting myself out there, utilizing my expertise and my lived-in experiences to share, and it resonates and works with people. And I can't think of anything better to do with my time. So I appreciate you tuning in today, taking the time to the recap after my 36th birthday, the After the Launch podcast, let's call it exposure therapy, and like putting yourself out there. And nothing bad happened. My life didn't change dramatically. I'm just sitting in awe of myself, if you will, that I pushed myself to get everything out there. I kept my word to myself, something I used to not do. And I stuck to my guns, and I published something on my birthday in a public format, despite my comfort zones that I've had for my whole life. And I betted on myself. And there's just like nothing else I can say about the After the Launch other than I'm excited. It's just beginning. The best is yet to come, if you will. And it's so exciting to be here. So thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your constructive feedback. Liz, I'm talking to you, and anyone else, I welcome it. Be kind, though. Be kind. Remember, good intentions. And it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, as in the anxiety and everything. And every time it did come up, I just gut checked myself. Did I have good intentions? I did. Then it's okay. Am I authentic to myself? I am. Am I modeling to my daughter to chase her dreams, to chase I'm trying to think of the word, not just to chase her dreams, but to push herself and then push herself to her dreams, to make things bigger, to expand and evolve? I get to model that to Hazel, and that is so freaking cool. Because I can say you can do whatever you want to do. If you want to start a podcast, start a podcast. I started at 36. You can do it too. She's probably going to be brilliant at it. She's such a brilliant talker. Gosh, I could talk about her all day. But thank you again for your support. If you stayed through this whole episode, thank you, thank you, thank you. And again, thanks for the comments, the support, the likes. Everything has been so exciting and rewarding. And again, the best is yet to come. So thanks for hanging out with me on Let's Talk About It with Courtney. And until next time, have a good day, you guys.